Wow. That was amazing. That's I'll Remember April, I think written in 1941 by Jean DePaul, if I'm not mistaken. Hi, I'm Dan Ipsen, your host for tonight's Jazz Vespers and longtime member of First Reformed Church. My wife Jamie and I were baptized, confirmed, and married in this church, so you might say we're lifers around this place. This evening we're very honored and excited to host the Jazz Vibes, led by Mike Benedict. How about meeting the band right now? Mike, could you introduce them?
Yes, thank you. If I can introduce the band. Dave, this is Mike. Mike, this is Pete over here. And it's the first time that they've met each other. I'm kidding, of course. Piano, David Gleason.
Yeah.
On bass, Mike Lawrence. And on drums, Pete Sweeney.
Yeah. All right, so before we continue, let's acknowledge some of the key sponsors of this event. The Schenectady Amsterdam Musical Union, the Mohawk Valley Society for Live Music, and the Music Performance Trust Fund, or MPTF. And certainly we also want to thank Zechariah Allen for technology support over here. So Mike reminded me that April is still Jazz Appreciation Month. And in his words, this tradition was first started through the National Museum of American History at the Smithsonian Institution in 2001. And since then, concerts that are free and open to the public were made available through the Musicians Union and the MPTF. MPTF has a contract with the recording industry, which is the main financial contributor. And as a result of that broad support, in November 2011, the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization officially designated April 30th, today, as International Jazz Day in order to highlight jazz and its diplomatic role of uniting people in all corners of the globe. And don't you just love what we're hearing tonight? So seeing as this is International Jazz Day, Mike thought that the theme could be how jazz originated in this country, which was actually due to the darkest hours of our country, our history, aka slavery, and how it has grown to symbolize now the concept of freedom throughout the world. So the set list you're going to hear tonight contains jazz standards by well-known composers that have become part of our international language. There's one Portuguese piece, I think, that's coming up here, and interestingly, my own son has moved to Portugal, so how ironic is that? But all I can say is that in these times, this theme is certainly appropriate, and it reminds me of how much we need to be promoters of goodness and equity in our local communities. Like Jesus, let us endeavor to behave as good shepherds and to love our neighbors as much as we love ourselves. And now more from the band.
We'd like to continue with a bossa nova, which is a combination of jazz samba from Brazil and the cool jazz of the 1950s. This is called Desafinado, as I said, by Antonio Carlos Jobim.
On the heels of COVID and all that's meant to us, sometimes maybe our relationships have changed a little bit. You know, it's great to see you all out here, but as an introvert, you know, sometimes we can get a little bit introverted. We stay in our immediate circle of friends and we forget to look more outward. So whether we're drifting a little to the right or the left, I love this piece of music by Neil Young, and it's one that the Stockade Strummers sometimes play. My wife is the instigator behind the Stockade Strummers. It's called Comes a Time. Comes a time when you're drifting. Comes a time when you settle down. Comes a light, feelings lifting. Lift that baby right up off the ground. You and I, we were captured. We took our souls and we flew away. We were right, we were giving. That's how we kept what we gave away. Oh, this old world, it keeps spinning around. It's a wonder tall trees ain't laying down. There comes a time, there comes a time.
Thank you. We'd like to continue with a selection that was written by Miles Davis at the beginning of what is called the cool period of jazz. This is from the Birth of the Cool album from 1949. This is called Boplicity. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
when I'm not hanging around First Reformed Church. One of the places I love to be is the St. Lawrence River. And I'll get to the connection in a second here, but the word flock, I think we all know that appears numerous times in the Bible, right? And usually in reference to sheep or shepherds. But the advent of spring also reminds me of flocks that are in the air. So I think Mary Oliver captures it very well in her poem entitled Wild Geese. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. And I would say it's with this assurance that everyone is welcomed into this Christian community of faith.
We'd like to play a spiritual written by Duke Ellington. This is called Come Sunday. 1, 2.
What a beautifully reflective piece that was, Come Sunday. So now turning our thoughts to a more traditional shepherd's flock, how about we recite the very familiar 23rd Psalm? And this is where you get to participate. Please join me, even if only on those phrases you actually remember, and use whatever version you care to. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in right paths for his name's sake. And even though I walk through the darkest valley, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord my whole life long. So, this is the challenge. Who is your shepherd? Or who might you be shepherding? Let's give that a little bit of thought during the next jazz piece. So y'all probably know that this is still part of the Easter season. So you might be wondering, well, what are the apostles up to right about now? Or maybe not, I don't know. But Acts 2, verses 42 through 47 give us some hints. They devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and fellowship, to the breaking of bread and the prayers. Awe came upon everyone because many wonders and signs were being done by the apostles. All who believed were together, and all had things in common. They would sell their possessions and goods and distribute proceeds to all, as any had need. Day by day, as they spent much time together in the temple, they broke bread at home and ate their food with glad and generous hearts, praising God and having the goodwill of all the people. And day by day, the Lord added to their number those who were being saved. So this is the shameless plug part. Jazz Vespers is actually a self-supporting ministry of First Reformed Church. So if you're so inclined, there is a drop box out in the atrium where you could give us a donation. That would be much appreciated. And Marjorie, the angel of snacks, has provided over here to the side. We thank you very much, Marjorie. And so hopefully you'll stick around and enjoy some snacks and conversation when we're done. And with that, I'll turn it back over to the folks that matter.
And we'd like to do a tribute to the great Wayne Shorter, one of the great figures in jazz history, who was a tenor saxophonist and a composer and a band leader, and who recently has passed us just in the last several weeks. This is called Black Nile. 1, 2. 1, 2, oh, 3, 3.
As I was looking at the theme of shepherds, I ran across a poem by Kelsey and Jesse Lightweave. It's entitled, "To My Young Shepherd." We walk over mountains, through water and dust. We walk under starlight to morning's first gust. Together we help them, the sheep I love dear, to pastures much greener along thy frontier. Feed them with comfort, the Spirit my word, follow my footsteps, and be thou anchored. They need a good servant, companion and friend. They need someone willing, so thou I will send. I'll be ever near thee, if wisdom you seek, in the pastures of trouble when outcomes look bleak. The light may be absent for a moment or two, breaking from clouds to help see thee through. My spirit's soft whisper is a gift just for thee, to my young shepherd with love eternally. Now we'll go to Up Jumped Spring. Here we go.
One, two, 1, 2, 3,
Up jumped spring. Now let's hear Robert Frost's Prayer in Spring. Oh, give us pleasure in the flowers today, and give us not to think so far away as the uncertain harvest. Keep us here, all simply in the springing of the year. Oh, give us pleasure in the orchard white, like nothing else by day, like ghosts by night. And make us happy in the happy bees, the swarming, dilating swarm around the perfect trees. And make us happy in the darting bird that suddenly above the bees is heard, the meteor that thrusts in with needle bill, and off a blossom in midair stands still. For this is love, and nothing else is love, the which is reserved for God above to sanctify to what far ends he will, but which it only needs that we fulfill.
Well, first of all, we have one more song left, and we'd like to thank you so much for having us today. And that was a wonderful sermon. Thank you so much. And you know, the First Reformed Church of Schenectady does so much for jazz musicians. I can't tell you how much I am appreciative personally, and I can tell you as a representative of the Schenectady Amsterdam Musical Union how much the union appreciates it as well. So let's give everybody a once again, David Gleason on piano. On bass. On drums, Pete Sweeney. We're going to end with a Sonny Rollins tune. If you were at my concert in Schenectady, you might remember that there is something called the contrafact, where there is different melodies written to existing chord changes. The chords to this go to George Gershwin's I Got Rhythm, but the melody has absolutely nothing to do with that. This is Sonny Rollins' Olio. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Jazz Vibes. All right, so let us all endeavor to be counted among the good shepherds in our local communities and be visible supporters of freedom and justice throughout the world. And may the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, the rains fall soft upon your fields, and until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Amen. Thanks for being here, folks. Real quick, please be part of the upcoming events May 7th. We have Wayne Hawkins and Pete Toigo, that's piano and bass, that's coming up May 7th. There's also some kind of a crop walk going on if you're interested in local community affairs and supporting hunger. And then on the 14th, you should contact Joe Doolittle, who I'm standing in for today. He's very interested in a potluck supper. We've got Reese Shad coming in with his band, and he's the grandson, is it, of Clark V. Poling? Is that right? Martel's shaking his head yes back there. So be part of that, because that's going to be just so cool, the historical perspective in addition to some fantastic jazz, followed by a meal. Doesn't get any better than that. So be with us. We'd love to see you again. Thanks for being here.